sabotage and pregnancy coercion, okay? So pregnancy pressure will be the first one that we talk about. And these all are very similar, and they kind of all overlap with each other. And just because someone's being pressured into pregnancy doesn't mean that there isn't birth control sabotage there. They can exist in the same realm, but there are slight differences. And as advocates, I want us to kind of just be aware of what those differences are. So we're aware of it, and we are aware of it when we're out helping victims. So pregnancy pressure involves pressuring a partner into a pregnancy that they do not want. Okay, so it can be things like saying, hey, if you love me, you get pregnant, right? You love me. I thought we agreed on this, right? Or it could be things like, I'm going to come over here and smoosh with you for a second. It'd be like things like, if you want to get married, we're having kids, we're having a baby, and if you don't do this, you really don't love me, right? So that's pregnancy pressure. It's the actual using kind of your power in your relationship, using that intimacy in the relationship to manipulate your partner into having a pregnancy or sometimes not having a pregnancy. Okay? Slightly different than pregnancy coercion. Pregnancy coercion is, the difference is the use of force typically, or acts of violence or threats of violence to kind of enact the perpetrator's wishes over the other partner. So what that means is that the perpetrator, instead of kind of just pressuring them, now there's things like acting violently or threats of violence. So it could be things like, God damn it, you're going to have this abortion. Right? Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Right? But if we're in a relationship, and when I slam my hand down on that table, this is how I enact my power, and this is how something's going to happen, typically violence. That's pregnancy coercion. It's that threat of violence to actually push someone into a reproductive decision. In that instance, it was having an abortion, right? It can also be the threat of violence. And so one example that I like to use is if you have partners who are in a same gendered relationship, a threat can be something like saying that you're going to out your partner if they're not out to their families, right? So if you don't have a vasectomy, I'm telling everyone that you're gay, or I'm telling everyone that you're bisexual. May not actually be an act of violence, but it is a threat that can be damaging to that person's life, right? So pregnancy coercion is really about using those behaviors and those threats to really enact the perpetrator's wishes, not the other partner. And the last one, and probably the most common one that we hear about, is birth control sabotage, which is the active interference with the birth control mechanism. So that's condoms, IUDs, birth control pills, withdrawal method, even though it's not an actual mechanism, it's a form of birth control. And that's when one partner will usually do something to destroy that birth control, or say that they're taking a birth control when they're not. So it can be things like saying, yeah, I'm taking my birth control pills. What are you talking about? When I know I'm not taking my birth control pills. Or there's been instances where partners will take out things like a NuvaRing, which is a contraceptive ring that sits right below the cervix during sexual intercourse, or take out like an IUD, right? And these things are active sabotage of those birth control methods usually to get a partner pregnant, okay? So I want us to do a very quick activity, because we go till 8:30, right?
Yeah.
Or 8 o'clock?
8:30. Well, 8:30.
Fine. We won't be long. Especially because since some of us have done this.
Hands start shaking.
So I want you to just take a piece of construction paper and just pass it along. And then if you could just, every other person take a marker.
Could you pull one out for me? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'm okay for now. When you said 8:30, I was like, what time is it now?
I didn't even realize what time it was. 7:30.
Thank you, Denise. I'll let you know.
Is it every other person?
Yeah, if every other person can take a marker. Alright. And it should be, so there's like each group of 2 will have. Perfect. So I want you to just pair off in groups of 2 or 3, right, with the people who are next to you. And I want you to think about these 3 types of reproductive coercion. Pregnancy pressure, birth control sabotage, and pregnancy coercion, okay? And in your, I'm going to give you a topic to choose. And with your partner, I want you to brainstorm an example of that. That's the first step, okay? So I want you guys to do pregnancy pressure. I want you to do birth control sabotage and pregnancy coercion. Pregnancy pressure, birth control sabotage, and pregnancy coercion, okay? So take a couple of minutes and you can come up with an example. You can set that down.
You mean stop it or just set it down?
You can stop it because then I'll just